Hello, good afternoon. Uh, okay. Hi, good afternoon. Let me take this opportunity to welcome all to the session this afternoon. My name is Betty Ann Soo Hon. I'm one of the agricultural officers attached to the Plant Quarantine Unit under the Research Division, Ministry of Agriculture. The session today would look at the Plant Quarantine online services, as well as the ePhyto issuance and the newly launched information portal. Our agenda, we will look at some of the online services that Plant Quarantine offers, which includes the plant import permit, the e-declaration and the inspections, the ePhyto, which involves sending and receiving phytosanitary certificates, as well as the Trade and Business Information Portal, which gives an insight in terms of how to access information on the trade of plants and plant products into Trinidad. One of our more popular services is the plant import permit. Glad to say it is a fully automated process. What is a plant import permit? It's an official document that gives legal authorization to bring regulated plant material from other countries into Trinidad and Tobago. And this is done in accordance with specified phytosanitary requirements. Applying for the permit. Applicants submit an electronic application via the TT-BIS link through the e-permit and licensing module. Now, before you can access the e-permit and licensing module, you need to register with TT Connect and TT-BIS link. And this is a one-time registration process. Once you have done that, you can now log in to TT-BIS link, select e-permits and licenses, and select plant quarantine services, and then you select the service that you want, which is the import permit. TT-BIS link will then display the respective form, and the applicant will complete at least all the mandatory fields and then submit it for processing. In terms of the processing, TT-BIS link then forwards the completed application to the plant import permit platform, where we have the approval officer will open up the application electronically and starts the processing. The following decisions can be made. The permit can be approved. Here, TT-BIS link will generate, once approved, TT-BIS link will generate the permit according to the respective template and update the processing status as issued. Once it has been approved, the import permit will then be emailed electronically to the applicant. It can also be rejected. Here, the approval officer, if rejected, will provide a remark as to why the permit was rejected. And normally it is done for two reasons: where there are no phytosanitary conditions exist. Hence, we will redirect the applicant to the pest risk analysis unit. Or you have cases where no import permit is required for the commodity. In this case, commodities are processed to the extent that the risk from a plant quarantine perspective is negligible. So hence, no import permit is required. TT-BIS then updates the applicant status to reject it. In some cases, permits can be queried. Here, basically, when we say query, we just request for further clarification. The trader or the broker is notified, indicating that the application was queried, and he is also notified of the nature of the query. The trader or broker then submits the clarification. The response is then routed to an approval officer for follow-up processing. And once the query has been answered, the permits, and all is well, the permit will be issued and emailed to the applicant as an approved permit. Now, the benefits of such a program, of such processing, is a reduction in the processing time for the plant import permit once all the requirements are met, increased efficiency, and elimination of the manual process. So there is no longer the need for you to physically come into the office to collect the import permit. Now, we are going to do future enhancements with respect to this service that we offer. One of it is that TT-BIS link will allow the trader or the broker to download the permit from their location. So we will no longer be actually emailing the permit. So once the permit is processed, they can now log on and download it from wherever they are. There's also the creation of drop-down boxes. This will allow for the reduction in errors. Example, so you will have a drop-down box for the unit of measurement, the list of commodities, etc. There's also one of the future enhancements we'll be looking at is the inclusion of a matrix or table which maps the botanical name, the material description, the end use, and the phytosanitary conditions, as well as the HS codes. This is basically what our plant import permit looks like. You can see we have the digital stamp, the digital signature, and there are a series of the barcode for security purposes. Another one of our services is that of the e-declaration/inspections. In order to import cargo into Trinidad and Tobago, the Custom and Excise Division requires that all goods be declared via an e-declaration. This enables the smooth processing and clearance of goods. This e-service or e-declaration enables importer or the exporter or authorized agent to obtain regulatory approvals or endorsements from agencies inclusive of plant quarantine. A central coordinating unit at PQCES Centeno processes and coordinates all plant import permits, e-declarations, export certification, and inspection of consignments. The e-declaration processing. TT BizLink receives the goods declaration from the Custom Border Control System, or as we know it, the ASACUDA system. TT BizLink will automatically check for auto-approval items, and this will be released. Auto-approvals is configured based on risk analysis. TT BizLink will then flag the declaration relevant to PQ for screening. The agricultural officer screens, and what this basically means is that the officer will review the attachment. We are interested in primarily the import permit and the phytosanitary certificate to ensure that there is compliance. Again, during the screening process, you have a number of decisions can be made. The officer can query the declaration. In this case, the officer provides comments regarding the query. TT BizLink displays the declaration in the dashboard of the trader or broker. The trader or broker then provides a clarification and then resubmits the declaration. It is routed again to the agricultural officer for follow-up processing. Also, another decision, it can be held for inspection. Now, it can be held for inspection at the bonded warehouse, which includes the PIARCO bonds, Swissport, Amerijet, or you have Medway. It can also be held for inspection at the container examination station at Port of Spain or Point Lisas, or at the importer's premises. The officer will review the attachments and the query if it applies and updates the decision to hold for inspection or hold for inspection at cess or premises. TT BizLink notifies or displays the declaration in the trader or broker's dashboard. So he is now aware that listen, plant quarantine wants to inspect the cargo. Another decision is that it can be refused entry. Here the trader or broker has two options. He can reship it or make the necessary arrangements to have the cargo destroyed, or the cargo can be released. Having the entry having been screened, we can then move on to the inspection. Currently, inspections are done utilizing the mobile app. The Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries introduced the use of the mobile app or the tablets in the conduct of inspections for imports in March 2020. The process is as follows. The trader or broker submits a booking request for an inspection 24 hours in advance via email. The email address is plantquarantine.centeno@gov.tt. The information required when making a booking request includes the date and time of the inspection, the location of the inspection, important whether the container is delivery authorized or if it has to be inspected along with customs or any other agency, and a contact number for the representative clearing the shipment. A confirmation email is forwarded to the importer notifying them of the date and time of the inspection. The inspection is then assigned to the PQ officer via the mobile app, and this is based on several criteria and displayed on the officer's dashboard. The plant quarantine officer then executes the inspection, and the following information is recorded on the mobile device. Firstly, there is the checklist whether the commodities conform or does not conform. There's a list of criteria, phytosanitary conditions, whether they conform to these or not. The inspection records basically provides details of the imported consignment. There's the option where the officer can take pictures of the consignment and the signature of the trader or broker. This is necessary to objectively verify that the inspection was conducted at a particular location and the results of the inspection. Again, on the tablet, the officer can make the following decision. He can release the shipment, or do a re-inspection if a detention is necessary, or refuse entry. With the mobile app, the decision taken is transmitted to the ASICUDA or customs in real time, thus enabling the clearance of the cargo. This slide just shows the record of inspections as seen on the mobile app when the information is completed by the officer. I just want to delve a little bit in terms of re-inspection. Re-inspection is used where a sample is required. In terms of, this may be a phytosanitary requirement, or it may have a presence of a pest. A representative sample is collected, labeled, secured, and sent to the lab. The relevant e-forms, which is the interception and or the non-compliance forms, are completed, forwarded via email to the lab for identification and recommendation. The results and the recommendation is then sent to PQ via email. The trader and the broker is informed of the decision via email. If treatment is recommended, then the necessary arrangement is made. The appropriate decision is then updated on the mobile app. So it's completely paperless. In terms of if the entry has to be refused entry, the commodity has to be refused entry, again, the relevant forms is completed and forwarded via email by the officer on the mobile app. For large quantities, the arrangements and the cost of destruction is the responsibility of the client. Again, you will schedule an appointment via email 24 hours in advance for an officer to witness the destruction, detailing the date and time of the collection of the seized item, the date and time of the destruction, the venue for the destruction, the disposal company utilized, whether the custom officer has to be present for the destruction, and after the destruction is completed, a destruction or disposal certificate is emailed to plant quarantine. Another one of our service is that of the electronic phytosanitary certificate. Here we use the generic ePhyto national system. The ePhyto is a tool which helps to transform the phytosanitary certificates to digital format and helps in exchange between countries globally. The ePhyto is produced in accordance with international standards for phytosanitary measure, ISPM 12. Trinidad and Tobago has now fully transitioned to the live exchange of ePhyto certificates using the IPPC hub for all commercial shipments. Applying for an ePhyto, trader or broker submits a request for the ePhyto via email to this particular email, ttpqtradeDocuments@gmail.com. The following documents must be submitted. There is a request form that must be completed. That is application for inspection and certification of plant and plant products for export. Now, the ePhyto can either be an export phyto or re-export phyto. For export phyto, in addition to this completed form, we ask that you upload the import permit issued by the importing country and the invoice. For re-exports, additionally, you have to upload the original phytosanitary certificates in addition to the import permit and the invoice. Submit a booking request for an inspection, again 24 hours in advance, if possible, via email to the ttpqtradeDocuments@gmail.com. I just want to add one other document that may be required in the case of if you're exporting teak. You need a clearance certificate from forestry. The PQ officer then processes the ePhyto. He does the draft and does the processing. Issues the phyto directly to the National Plant Protection Organization. The exporter can get the certificate from the PQ email and download it from the system. This slide shows when phytos were manually done as opposed to what it looks now with the electronic system, the before and after. I just want to say a little on the information portal, which was the Trade and Business Information Portal, which was launched on the 25th of May. This portal gives access to information on the trade of plants and plant products, imports and exports. Here, the trader or broker can find information on the regulatory requirements for importing or exporting plants and plant products into or out of Trinidad and Tobago. Some of the information is how to obtain an import permit, how to obtain a phytosanitary certificate, how to declare goods to customs, how to book inspections, how to release goods. It is hoped we are working along in collaboration with the Ministry of Trade, where we are going to have, I would have mentioned previous in the presentation, our matrix, where we would have, on the matrix, we will have the commodities that are allowed to be imported from the countries and the phytosanitary conditions. So it is hoped in the future that clients can log on to this portal. So if I want to import, let's say, carrots from Costa Rica, I can log on to the portal and I can see, okay, carrots from Costa Rica, we have conditions and these are the conditions. So I can apply for my permit. If not, then as a pest risk analysis will have to be done so you can deal directly with the PRA unit. These are some of the pictures with respect to inspections at the port of entry. Here we have our officers at Queen's Wharf, the Caracon Walk, doing the inspection. You will notice the officer is utilizing the tablet, plays a crucial role in terms of the inspection and data gathering. And also the systems are set up in the wharf where when the cargo is discharged from the jetty, it is placed in an area in an orderly fashion in terms for inspections. Here we have the inspector at the bonded warehouse. I want to believe this is a Swissport. Again, she's utilizing her gloves, her mask, as well as there's a table to conduct the inspection. Here we have another. This is done at the importer's premises. And one of the things, as I said, when inspections are done at the importer's premises, we ensure that the necessary arrangements are put in place to facilitate the inspector. There's a table normally provided, and there are people to offload the cargo, to open the bags, etc. So all that is put in place to facilitate the conduct of the inspection. Again, this is at the bonded warehouse where we have one of our inspectors there facilitating the inspection for seeds, the importation of seeds with the client. And the inspectors are very versed and knowledgeable, and they would inform the clients in terms of what are the requirements, what are the requirements that have to be met if there is a phytosanitary condition is not met, as to why and how it is treated and all that. So they provide an explanation so the client, so the error would not be repeated as such. Again, this shows the Caracon Wharf, where the goods are again positioned and stationed in particular areas, each consignee that facilitates inspection. They provide their individuals in terms to open the cargo, and the tablet again is crucial to collecting data. Here we have inspections, the use of the tablet. All inspections conducted with the use of this device, including the issue of ePhyto on off-station. So not only do we conduct inspections for incoming cargo, but also for export inspections, we have the ePhyto app on the tablet itself. So the officer can go at a particular off-station location and conduct the inspection and can issue the ePhyto via the tablet electronically. So again, there is no need for him to paper or anything like that. He can issue it on site utilizing the tablet. Digital transformation is important in terms of moving plant quarantine forward. And meeting the mandate of our ministry. Currently, I'm proud to say that our data is collected and recorded electronically at all our ports of entry. And plant quarantine is technology-driven, data-driven, and client-oriented. Continuous training of our PQ staff in accordance with the MALF mandate is conducted to ensure that they understand and the service we provide to our clients is acceptable, and at the final analysis, they are able to clear their cargo, which is inevitably, and this will save, money as such. The way forward. Again, with our ePhyto, we are moving the ePhyto into phase 2, where we are training, we'll have training sessions for companies where they can complete their draft ePhyto and submit it to us. So that's phase 2. We are also working together with Ministry of Trade, in collaboration with Ministry of Trade, to develop an integrated risk management system. Here, TT BizLink will run the risk analysis for each item imported based on variables defined by plant quarantine. The risk analysis is configured by the agency, by the AGES codes, and a set of relevant variables for each case. The variables include the fields in the declaration as well as historical record of compliance and non-compliance. And this is why the use of the tablet and recording the data electronically is important, because that data will be used in generating and developing the IRMS, the Integrated Risk Management System. We are also working with our IT department and the Ministry of Agriculture to develop an online appointment or booking request for inspections. This has already, the prototype has been developed. It is in its testing phase, and we hope to launch soon. Again, throughout this presentation, I would have mentioned that collaboration is the key to any success. Let me use this opportunity to express our sincere thanks to those we have collaborated with, including Ministry of Trade, who has been a tremendous support, not only providing training, but also equipment, like, for example, tablets and printers and stuff like that. They have assisted us tremendously. We have also worked closely in terms of bringing the ePhyto to a success with Mr. Michael Perry from the USDA APHIS, as well as we have worked with the FAO organization, just to name a few. But success depends on collaboration. And we have seen that it has brought tangible benefits in terms of plant quarantine. Again, I want to acknowledge Mr. Michael Perry, USDA APHIS, the management and staff, the PS, the CTO, and the director, the staff of the research division, who without this and plant quarantine, without which it would not have been possible, the importers, the exporters, the brokers, and their representative, who, has been tremendous, in terms of our stakeholders meetings and trying to iron out issues that we may have. And other stakeholders and many others, too much to mention. I hope this information would have been useful. We welcome any questions or comments or suggestions, which you can put on the chat. Thank you. Well, no questions are coming in yet, or if any comments, we will appreciate it. Any feedback. If you'll think of any later on, you can always contact Plant Quarantine at 280. This is our number that we can be contacted at, 280-7938, 280-7938, or you can email us at plantquarantine.centennial@gov.tt. That is plantquarantine.centennial@gov.tt. Great. Let me just repeat for those who may have now joined in or may have left and just returned. Our plant quarantine is contactable. Our contact number is 280-7938. That is 280-7938. Or you can email us at plantquarantine.centennial, that is CENTENO@gov.tt. Our office hours are Monday to Friday, 8 to 4. And let me take this opportunity as I'm here as well. As I mentioned, we are moving into phase 2 of our ePhyto, where we are going to target the companies as such. So if we have any representative from companies out there, we'll be sending you the email. So we'll have a training session. So you will now be able to send us the draft. And again, this will further reduce the time in terms of processing the ePhyto. Okay, so I see you have a question here. What is the process for a returning national who resides in Canada to bring plants and herbs on returning? Okay, to import plant and plant products, you need a plant import permit, right? And a phytosanitary certificate. Again, the process is electronic, so you can register with TT Connect and TT BizLink. And once you have successfully registered, you can submit your application online. Once there are conditions, we will issue the import permit. It's important. The import permit, as I said, gives you legal authorization to import the item. So you have to ensure that the items you're bringing must meet the phytosanitary requirements. Right? Must meet the phytosanitary requirements. Again, if you're having any issues, you can call the number that it will be on the chat, or email us, and we'll be only glad enough to walk you through the process. I just want to note that plant import permits, the applicants must be residents of Trinidad and Tobago. Again, let me take this opportunity while you get your questions together. Let me take your opportunity. Plant quarantine is contactable by the number 280-7938, or you can email us at plantquarantine.centennial@gov.tt. Plant quarantine, that is plantquarantine.centennial@gov.tt. Someone will always answer the phone. If not, we will return the call. We have a very good question here, because can a farmer import seeds? Of course, anyone can import seeds, but there are certain criteria that you have to meet. Important is the import permit. The import permit, I can't state it enough. I can't emphasize it enough. The import permit states the conditions under which the seeds will be allowed to enter. You have to ensure that these conditions are met prior to the importation of the seeds. So like with a farmer, you will have to register. for your on TT BizLink. Submit your application. It will be processed. It may be queried. If it is queried, it will go back to your inbox. You answer the query. If you're having difficulties in terms of filling out the application process, you can call us at 280-7938, and our officers are there who will walk you through the process. So bear in mind, I just want to emphasize that the conditions on the permit must be met before the goods arrive into the country. Once you have your import permit and you have met the conditions and it lands, then we will do the physical inspection. And like I described, to do the physical inspection, there will be the screening of the documents to ensure that you have your import permits and your PHYTO, and then we will do the physical inspection and make the required decision. I just want to take the opportunity, as I see kind of farmer import seeds as well. A lot of farmers, we have import seeds via not only the bonds, but via the post office. And again, sometimes, their family may say, okay, I'm sending you a couple of packs of seeds, or as the case in the post office. It's important that you have your documentary requirements, which is the import permit and the phytosanitary certificate. With the post office, the inspection is a little different because the owner of the goods is not present. So we have what is known as if you have imported seeds and we do not have your documentary requirements, which is the import permits and the PHYTO, we have a notice of intended seizure, which will give you 10 days to produce your documents. Once you produce the documents, inspection will be conducted and a relevant decision will be made. Right? It's important that when you're importing seeds through the post office, you attach your import permit and your PHYTO together with the consignment. So again, you don't have that 10-day delay as such. I just want to thank you for taking the time to attend this session. I'm really grateful, and I hope the information assists. Again, I take this opportunity. If there are any further questions, you can always continue to place it on the chat, or you can call us directly at 280-7938, or you can email us at planquarantine.centennial.gov.tt. That is planquarantine.centennial.gov.tt. Thank you.